Sorry about that, folks. Thank you for letting me know. I almost did the whole show without audio. So, folks, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here on this fine day. It's August 5th, 2025. This is part of the quick market update series. I do these twice a week on my YouTube channel. Of course, you can find me on Twitter at Big Cheds and Bitcoin Live, where I am a founding analyst. So, folks, while you are here, and again, I'll talk about Bitcoin. I'll get into that. I have a lot of stuff I want to cover on the chart. But while you're here, go to this playlist, which is called the Trading Encyclopedia. All right. This is a brand new playlist I've started doing recently. Folks, hopefully my audio is working. Folks, I've done entire videos with no audio, right? I've done entire videos with no audio. I'm kidding you not. I've gone like 20 minutes. And people are like, man, what's going on? So check out the Trading Encyclopedia. These are 3 minutes a day. It's only going to take you 3 minutes a day to learn professional technical analysis for free, okay? I'm putting out topics like what's a breakout? How do I confirm a move? How do I set my stop loss? What's the RSI? What's the MACD? I've already recorded like 140 videos. And, new ones coming out every day. So check that out. I'm super proud of that series. As you know, I've published 4 books and I'm making them free. I have the new version of Trading Quotes. I just basically have a ton of free learning material, a ton of like educational stuff for you to check out. So we have a nice lively chat room. You folks are telling me that I had no volume on, so thank you. It's funny how that happens sometimes. So I'll get to all the questions in the chat. I'll get to everybody's comments. What I want to do now is kind of set the table on Bitcoin. As you know, I like to riff through the chart and kind of set things up. So what are we looking at on the chart? Now, I have a bunch of tweets. Oh, by the way, my favorite exchange, of course, is BingX. And for my friends in the US, I know there's issues here. I have a new partnership coming out pretty soon that I'll tell you about. So let's start out with what's going on here. So we have Bitcoin Daily. This is from 2 days ago, right? Bitcoin Daily now working on a tweezer bottom at SMA 50. So how did we get there, right? What is a tweezer bottom? Tweezer bottom is dual candle lows, right? It doesn't have to be the exact, it doesn't have to be the exact same low, but this is roughly the same low. And it's at the SMA 50. I want to talk about what that means, if that matters or not. But you have a tweezer bottom after a move down at the lower Bollinger Band, and that suggests a short-term reversal, and we got that. Now, Bitcoin has been consolidating quite nicely on the weekly time frame, price versus EMA 8, rising quite nicely. We had the long advance, long multi-week consolidation, high and tight. The short advance out of that, and short consolidation. It's all been incredibly textbook, actually. And it's actually worthwhile for you to go back and watch my older videos to kind of get a sense of how we got here. But we've had this kind of textbook clean consolidation on the weekly. We knew we were beginning to consolidate after the spinning top here. And on the daily chart, it's really just been a question of, is 116K going to hold? And so we've been marking up 116K. As very much roughly the range lows, right? So why is it 116K? Well, the price told us to start looking here. Major response in this candle, roughly held to these lows. We had the sweep, which turned out to be an early move. Sweep and recapture of 116K. It held here again. And then we lost it. So we lost it and we hit the MA50, all right? So when you see this, are you thinking, oh, that's it? We hit the MA, we lost 116K, but we hit the MA50. That's it. We're going to go up, right? Oh, we did a perfect, I saw a lot of people on Twitter drawing this retest. It's a perfect retest. MA50, it's going to go up. There's a big problem with that. They're not understanding momentum. All right. There's a lot of what I would call questionable TA going on, right? So first of all, you have a major loss of support at 116K. All right. Even with this bounce right off the MA50, you're thinking it's going to underside test, and we'll get to that. And I just put out, by the way, I put out a little snippet of my Bitcoin Live video on Sunday night where I pretty much talked about this exactly happening, and you should watch this. It will help things make more sense. But what we did, we tested a single data point level, this 112K high. It's not that important. Why is it not important? Well, after this, we already set a high, hit it again. 3 data points with time interval in between. It's more recent. It's more important to the price. This is classical charting. And so a coincidental oversold bounce off 112K is not going to be enough, right? We had a major breakdown in between ranges and didn't even test the major level. So while you see this bounce, you should be knowing that it's going to lead into a retest and a rollover, right? Why is that? Well, what about the SMA 50, right? Isn't that a big deal? Folks, and great comments, I'll get to them. Hey, folks, isn't it a big deal that we tagged the SMA 50? Not really. The price chopped through it. The price chopped through it, tagged it here, but chopped through it. Right? 3 of the last 5 times it interacted with the SMA 50, it bounced right through it. So when the price is disrespecting a level, why would you respect it? Right? All of a sudden now the SMA 50 is support. All of a sudden, why? Right? The price has shown us that it doesn't care about it. Chop through it. You know this. We've talked about these lessons, right? A level is only a level while the price is respecting it. Here's your resistance level. Okay, great. You take a breakout. What if the price comes and does this and just chops through your breakout level? Are you still playing this level? No. The price is no longer respecting the level. So you got to be careful with some of the TA out there. Single data point, 112K, single data point 112K, MA50, it's just not enough. There's no way this was going to be enough of a retest. And you just knew that based on the significance of the 116K break, okay? You had the outside bar, sure, but where's the volume? Weak volume, you knew was going to be a minor bounce, and we got that, right? And what's interesting is on the 4-hour. I've been tracking the 4-hour, and I put out a lot of tweets. So let's kind of work through them here. So, all right, so I talked about, so I do, even though I'm thinking we're going to 110K, I want to let you know when I see potential pivot signs. So actually here, Bitcoin 4H, which is 4-hour, working on an outside bar. By the way, I have a video, what's an outside bar? What's a pin bar, folks? You got to watch this encyclopedia series. All of my, complicated academic speak, I'm trying to literally make a 3-minute video on everything to help you level up your skills. So we saw the 4H outside bar following a decline. What does that matter? What's the context? So we understand for any type of reversal signal, you want to have a trend to reverse. So an outside bar following a decline means more than an outside bar following sideways. So we got that. Here's the 4H, and we got the outside bar. Let me go back here. 4H outside bar following the decline right at 113K here. So outside bar following the decline, here it is. Here's our outside bar. And it's like, all right, it's fine, but we know we're probably going to see a weak bounce off of this level. I'm still pointing it out because we're likely to get some type of an action, but it's just setting up for a bounce into underside. Why is it a bounce into underside? It's the principle of polarity. Lost support becomes resistance. So we're trading these moves. We're trading, the back and forth. 4H outside bar, bullish divergence. Why bullish divergence? On balance volume, which is an index. It's a momentum indicator, and it's adding up the volume in the green and red candles. You can see it here, more green volume. There's accumulation, prices moving down. You had bullish divergence. So this is telling you, hey, get ready for a little bounce, and then there it is. Not only a 4H outside bar, it led to the daily tweezer, which we just went over. So let's continue progression from there, right? What was the next signal, right? I'm trying to put out as much free content as possible. I am just absolutely dedicated to Bitcoin Live. But in addition, I try to give you breadcrumbs, right, on Twitter as well. So what do we have next? When you see this tweet from me, Bitcoin now pushing towards underside of lost support. Oh, Cheds, is this a bullish tweet? No, it's a bearish tweet. It's pushing towards underside of lost support. I'm telling you now, I'm literally telling you, we are heading towards resistance from underneath. That is called a pullback. That is called an underside test. I have a video on that. It's one of the more popular ones. It says like underside test, Solana example or whatever. I mean, I have so many videos now. It's ridiculous. You can just search, Control F or whatever, search through it. But let's sort by most popular. Yeah, underside test. It was literally right in front of me. The second video, underside test. What's an underside test? So I'm telling you, I am literally telling you we're heading towards an underside test. Expect a rejection. So if you're expecting a rejection on the daily time frame, what do you do, right? What do? You drop to a lower time frame when the price gets closer to a key level, which is why we dropped to a 4-hour. All right. So we see the 4H outside. Around here, I put in the tweet where I said we're heading towards an underside test. And what do we get? We get a couple few pin bars, especially this pin bar. It's also a shooting star. A shooting star, a bearish reversal candlestick. It's an inverted hammer after an advance. What is a pin bar? I'm glad you asked. What is a pin bar? There's a video right in here somewhere that says pin bar. Oh, what's a pin bar? Let me go check Cheds. Let me check the trading encyclopedia, right? So we're pushing towards underside. I'm seeing some outperformance of Ethereum. That's kind of pseudo cautious for Bitcoin. Pretty much textbook. And then I said a reply to this. I think I replied to the video. I replied to it and I said, maybe not this tweet, but it basically said we're heading towards a bearish pin bar. What's a pin bar? I'm replying to, here we go. And then I'm saying, okay, so I'm saying we're heading towards a daily underside retest. And then we get this signal, a 4H pin bar, which is a shooting star in this example, at the underside of lost daily support following the 4H lower to upper Bollinger Band move. I put out another tweet in here where I basically said 4H lower to upper Bollinger Band move. Why does that matter? Well, we already know the price is in a daily corrective phase. And when you see this lower to upper Bollinger Band move following a breakdown, that's a sign, very likely sign that this mean reversion, that this minor trend is likely ending, right? 4H lower to upper Bollinger Band move means a move against the immediate trend, okay? What do we get? We get the shooting star. So we get the shooting star on the 4-hour at the upper Bollinger Band at daily loss support. I mean, it's just kind of, I almost feel like it doesn't get easier. It's just so logical to me. It's so straightforward. It's so logical, so orderly, okay? And then what is the next tweet, right? Because I've been peppering this. I've been just like peppering this like price progression for you, because I want to teach you all this stuff, folks, right? So we see the 4H here. Look at that. 23 hours ago, Bitcoin now 4H lower to upper Bollinger Band move following. Look at the context clues in these tweets. Following a loss of support in the daily. And there it is. I mean, just now you're looking for a short even. Now you're being careful. What was interesting is you actually had a retest of the pin bar, wick, allowing you to take a short. The best entries often come in the retest of a reversal candle's range. We know that from Japanese candlestick theory. Okay? Yada, yada, yada. Right? We get the retest of the underside rejection. What's the next step? What's the next tweet? And then here we go. Basically me showing you the 4H markup of the pin bar. I pointed out where it came. So pretty much straightforward. Let's reset in the daily, and then I want to check in with the chat room. Then we'll move on. We'll do Ethereum. We'll do altcoins. Look, weekly chart's strong. We know weekly chart is consolidating. We know the weekly chart was going to consolidate because of the advance and the spinning top. We also knew it would be a small consolidation because we know, rule of thumb, right? Length of advance suggests the length of the time period of the consolidation. I have a video on that for the trading encyclopedia. We understand in the daily chart the significance of the loss of 116K. We understand a single data point with coincidental confluence to a chopped through SMA 50 is not enough. It's not enough. You're not going to skip a major range retest, right? Multiple data points with time interval in between. We just pretty much had a good sense that once it lost 16K, it's going to go to 110. What this whole thing here was just a really nice trading opportunity, a really nice trading setup on the 4H underside, all that good stuff. So that's kind of what I wanted to say. I know I went really quickly. You probably want to know what any of this means. Again, trading. I'm sorry to keep plugging this, but this is a beautiful project. I'm obsessed with. I have like 300-400 more videos I want to record. This will teach you everything I know, every little concept I know. Let's jump into the chat room. What's up, Indeed? Good to see you. Thank you, brother. What's up, Zenzina? Mauricio. Bobby says, waiting for the dance. Hopefully I did not disappoint. Martwan, nice to see you as always. Banky Mania, what's going on? So you want me to look at CRV? Sure. Let's just do that. Let's jump right in. You want to do a couple requests, and then I'll do Ethereum, right? So for sure. I'll get to Ethereum in a minute. We'll do CRV, and I promise I won't skip it. So CRV, a little bit of a local range breakout, and we have some of the same almost the same genre of price action here with the underside test. That's what we're looking at. Mean reversion, rolling over. I think CRV is probably headed to like 75, 80 cents, and that's what I talked about in Sunday Night Bitcoin Live. And it's similar. So much of the stuff I told you about on Bitcoin, you can apply here to Curve. All right. Let me do Ethereum, and then I'll get back into the chat room. That way I don't get too far afield. That way I don't get off topic too much. By the way, I'm recording a brand new long-form interview tonight with someone you may know. This will go in the long-form interview series. I recently did one with Follis, who's a great trader. I'm really trying to populate the long-form interview series. I think you folks will enjoy that. So Ethereum, very, very simply put, initial rejection at the high time frame breakout level, right? This is a mega level, right? So classical charting tells us that, we really want to pay attention to this level. Why? Well, you've got multiple data points. The more times a level is tested, the more important it is. Also, the more significant a break of that level would be. The level is well formed. It has all the construction we need in classical charting: time interval, price distance, peak to trough, kind of everything you need. So we have the strong advance after the tower top, 2150 throwback, 2900 breakout. And I was been watching to see any kind of a hold at 3,500. So let's see if we've got that. And it's essentially unclear because you wanted to see range lows hold. And unlike Bitcoin, this did not reject on the underside, and hence the relative strength we've seen like in Ethereum, right? Even ETH BTC flirting with that weekly SMA 50, that 032 level. So we see here just in the construction of this versus what we just looked at in Curve, versus what we just looked at in Bitcoin, you can see there's local relative strength on Ethereum, right? So very clearly, if you're a bear in Ethereum, you have to take a long on the break of range peak. If it can break, 3,900 4K, it's super clear. There's no guarantee it's going to do that, but it's a well-defined level, which is all you want, is a well-defined level for you to kind of leverage your risk, and not necessarily with leverage, but for you to manage your risk, for you to execute something, right? Mauricio, I'm glad to be here live. Thank you, man. Last time in January, but it kept everything recorded. Thanks for all your great work. Daily education series. Awesome. Yeah, if you folks are already enjoying the trading encyclopedia, just let me know. I'm super proud of it. I'm really enjoying recording those videos. I wish it was around when I was getting started. I would love to be able to just, soak up and binge watch those videos. In Solana, we see the up thrust. The false break of the 185 level, the inability to hold on the throwback, and the bounce kind of back into the middle of the range at another major level around 160, 165. So my best bet would be a bounce. If it can find strength here, a little bit of bounce and then a rejection, and then another test. There's not much of a trend. Solana is range bound. We talked about CRV. What's up, John? What is up, Simone? What is up, Oceanic Muhammad? Thank you. I appreciate all your comments. Muhammad, you're always quite kind. Muhammad says he's learning from the Trading Encyclopedia. I look like an orange bandit, says Much Wow Nature. Yeah, it's pretty funny. What's up, Bobby? What is up, Oceanic? Everyone says no audio. I'm just scrolling through in the chat room from top to bottom. And folks, if I missed your message, it's an oversight. I apologize. I'm not trying to intentionally, ignore your message. All right. It's just, it's just me. I'm just hanging out. I pretty much do this for fun. I don't have a moderator. I know a lot of people have moderators, but that's just not my style. Let's see. Thanks for the update, Gilbert. You're welcome. Okay, John. See, I want a good question. You have my ear right now, and I can look at a trading question for you. John asks, does the 8W SMA? So people might want to know, what does this even mean? And I have a video I'm going to do on like what common shorthand means. So what does 8W SMA, right? If I'll give you folks a second. If you're not sure, take a second and think about it, right? An 8 means an 8-period weekly simple moving average. Well, simple moving average just means it's equally weighted, as opposed to an exponential moving average. For example, my 8. Exponential means there's more price weighting given to the most recent candle, right? Which is why you should be using it for short-term moving averages. You don't want to use an EMA for like a 200. That's a little crazy in my view. I know some people do, but the question is the 8 weekly SMA matter here? Well, I don't use an 8 simple. I use an 8 EMA 8. And this is a primary uptrend support. I have a video on this concept in my Trading Encyclopedia playlist. The price held it, has pretty much held it ever since it broke out of this range here. If you remember, we had that really nice and easy long signal, 81K, 80, and 88.5 that I walked you through. You can watch the old videos. Does the 8 SMA matter? And I think that's why people are spotting 112. 112 doesn't matter. 112 is irrelevant. 112 is a single data point, John. So we need to kind of look past that, and we need to drill down. We need to read our textbooks. We need to understand classical charting. The most recent price action is the most important. This was an early move. This is a minor move. This is your major level. There is simply no debate. So I don't think the 8 SMA matters. The 8 EMA matters. It's primary uptrend support, but it doesn't matter as much as can bulls hold here. The principle of polarity, resistance should become support. That's how you stair step. Gilbert says, thank you, Gilbert. Daniel, what's up? What's up, Psalm Capital? Good to see you. Joe, nice to see you as well. Joe, Big Stats Only. What's up, Big Stats? And Big Stats actually requested I make a video for the Trading Encyclopedia playlist that's coming out in a couple days. The question was, like, what's the difference between a high and tight and a tower flag? And so these are all videos I've recorded you haven't seen yet. But I have it in here, essentially the difference between high and tight and a tower top. Here you go. No, I have it in here somewhere. I won't sport your patience, but you can request I make a video for you for the Trading Encyclopedia, and if I haven't made it, I'll make it. All right, let's see. Great info. Thank you, Simone. Hey, Cheds, can you look at Chef? Okay, Andrew. Hey, good to see you, Andrew, as well. Andrew. You're asking about something called Chef. Is this probably a stock? And I'm happy to look at equity stuff. Chef's Warehouse. It's on NASDAQ. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, I don't mind looking at stuff for you. The question was, is it a cup and a handle? I mean, why do you have to name? Andrew, I'll ask you, what do you gain from calling this a cup and handle? Like, what does that do for you if it's a cup and handle? Are you going to play it differently? I mean, it's not about naming a pattern. It's the price structure. And again, I have a video on that concept in the Trading Encyclopedia. Very simply put, it's trying to stair step, and ideally, you'd like to see it hold above 65, 65.50. You don't need to label this. What do I gain from calling this a cup and handle? I just don't understand. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I need more textbooks. You just stop naming things. The patterns don't matter. Is there price structure? You have range peak. It's chopping through it. I'd say more important maybe than there is going to be here. Local range lows, rising demand structure. 61, 61.50, you want to see that hold. This is a bullish chart. There's no doubt about it. I don't like the sell-off volume. That's fine. It's a single bar. I could get more perspective on a 3-day or a weekly if I wanted, but this is generally quite a bullish chart. What would your entry be and stop loss on the daily? Well, if I'm looking for a new entry, I would need it to drop to around 61 in the high $60 range. My stop loss would be like at $60, just below this cluster of wicks, Andrew. Okay, hopefully that answers your question. Daniel, what's up, man? Daniel says, Bitcoin Live member, feels great to have the playbook beforehand. Makes things a lot less stressful learning from you. Thank you, man. Daniel, thank you, brother. You know, I've been at Bitcoin Live since the beginning. I'm a founding analyst, and I do a twice-a-week full market report every Wednesday, Sunday night. I haven't skipped that, I think, in like 6 years. I'm incredibly dedicated, and I try to give it my best. I try to give you folks my best, too, here. But Bitcoin Live, I'll be honest, is a priority for me. There's no question about that. All right, how are we feeling about Well? John says, I'll take a look at Well. I think, is that Moonwell? I think it's on Coinbase, if I remember correctly. There it is. Let's take a look at Coinbase. Well, not great. This is a weak chart. We don't like it. How are we feeling? Is we don't like it. It's a downtrend. How do we know? How do I know it's a downtrend? Well, I'm glad you asked. I have a video on that in the Trading Encyclopedia. What is an uptrend? What is a downtrend? This is going to get you all squared away. It's priced below a falling MA200. This has relative weakness to market. Much of the rest of the market has a pseudo double bottom, even ascending triangle reversal type structure if you want. Much of the market is well above the peak. This thing is not even close to it. This is a bad chart. I would probably delete from the watch list and go play something else, just to be honest. There's so many altcoins right now. Do not futz around. Do not waste your time with weaker charts. Oceanic, great question, says, Cheds, how do you structure your thoughts and journaling across trades. Well, as you know, I have a brand new book I've just published called the Trading Journal. And one of the newest videos I published for this series is called Why You Need a Trading Journal. It's in this Trading Encyclopedia series. Let's give you a sense of that. How do I structure my thoughts and journaling across trades? How do you prioritize which charts to analyze? So that's a great question. So look, for me and what I do, I trade like way too much, but I also cover the entire market for you. That's like what I do. So I have a huge watch list, right? But what I recommend you do is have like 10 or 15 plays. You study those plays, you build up muscle memory, you understand what they're doing. I have the muscle memory in Bitcoin. I can see it in my sleep. I understand price relation to key levels. You should start with a smaller watch list, study those plays, and just analyze those 10 or 15 and keep it to that number. If you're going to add a new coin to the list, remove another one. Remove the weakest one. Every time you add something, remove the weakest one and then have a set of strong charts and buy dips and uptrends. Set yourself up to buy dips and uptrends. That's what you want to do as a trader. The whole point of TA is to identify a trend and take advantage of a move against the trend because trends tend to continue. It can be that simple. All right, Dre wants me to look at Pengu, H-bar. Let's take a look at Pengu. I know a lot of people probably like the Penguin, the Pengu. Now, there's not a ton of history, but what we have so far is quite decent. We were just looking at like Moonwell, right? So Moonwell is like down here, okay? Here's Pengu, infinitely stronger. It looks pretty good. It's starting to consolidate. That's okay. Consolidation's fine. We're heading towards second level uptrend support, EMA 34. I do have a video if you wonder, what my moving averages are. If you look, there's a video called What Are My Moving Averages? Sorry, I keep plugging this, but I'm super proud of it. It kind of explains all these moving averages, primary uptrend, secondary uptrend. This is consolidating quite nice. What I will observe is the concept of a volume trend. Now, I do have a video on this in the encyclopedia talking about talking about volume basics from Trading Wisdom, and you get a sense here, volume will trail off. So this tells you it's consolidating. It probably has another 5 or 6 bars left before it leaves this range. Practically speaking, just watch local demand. It's a nice looking chart. If there was some kind of freaky panic dip, of course you would look lower here, but it's generally quite a nice looking chart. Let's see. Can I look at Altcoin on the 4-hour? Sure. Why not? Hey, why not? We're here. We're having fun. It's just me and you. You're hearing my voice. I'm wearing an orange mask. I'm dancing. I'm a nerdy academic price guy, and we're just chilling, and we're looking at Altcoin. And on the 4-hour, which is 4H, you can see it testing local demand. You can see it very clearly testing local. You can do well-defined demand zone. So do we need to zoom in? And we can zoom in a little bit. Now, you do have the upper to lower Bollinger Band move following a series of lost support, which is a little bit more problematic. So based on that, it's probably just going to keep testing support, probably going to drop a little bit lower. So it's definitely in a corrective phase like Bitcoin. It's in a downward channel, lower highs. You want to see that break. Where's our higher low? Is it here? Probably not. We have this new low, loss of this higher low. So it's in a corrective phase. Probably drifting lower. Can I look at ADA? I have not looked at ADA in a little while since it came off the list. I don't keep weak charts on my list. 72, I think 75. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful bounce and a nice short setup played out nicely. You have a progression of lower highs on ADA, and you have a very clear support breakdown, a rally, a bounce into the underside, textbook short setup, follow through from that. Momentum is rolling over. What do we think, though? It's not terrible. It's got support. As long as this level holds, I think it's quite reasonable. But if you're a bull and it can't hold here around 69.70, I think you really got to step back and think, are we going down here? That's a pretty big drop from this level up here. So big loss of momentum. Just had the short or the underside retest. Again, I have a video on that, folks. All right. Olga says, so grateful for your generosity and knowledge. God bless you. God bless you, Olga. Appreciate you. Thank you. That's very kind. Ravo has Cheds. I believe another, what do we think here? I believe another 16K underside test is coming. Based on what? Based on what? It's possible. I'd say it's unlikely, though. I mean, it wouldn't make sense to retest here until we test support. I mean, it could very well be another 116K zone. Again, it's a price zone. It's not 116K. There's a filter around the price. There could be another 116K test, but that would be logically, again, we're thinking about logic and orderly consolidation. That would be after we test demand. Momentum is heading there. So it's an underdog scenario to think it's going to tag 116 before 110K. ENA, sure. It's been a stronger chart, ENA. Let's look at it right there. It's got some strength. It's above the breakout level. It's consolidating. ENA looks pretty good. There's accumulation here. We like that. That's going to tell us that the OBV will be rising. You want to check? There it is. Did I need the on-balance volume, or can I just see it in the chart, folks? You need a simpler setup. You don't even need the OBV, the RSI. Just look at the volume. Look at the volume. Look at the candles. Look at the price versus resistance. It's above local resistance. It's consolidating nicely. First MA20 tag. You can pay attention to that. ENA looks pretty good. Thank you for your endless energy and devotion, says Go. We'll check out that new encyclopedia. Yeah, folks, I literally have a new video every day. And like, I didn't realize how many little things I knew. I have a master list of videos I want to make. And it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Falling 3 methods, rising 3 methods, bearish belt hold, bump and run. Like there's a million concepts, especially because I combine, classical charting and Japanese candlestick theory. And I've read so many textbooks and I've done CMT. And I was actually reading the CMT2 textbook because I'm studying for that. And I was like, wait a minute, why don't I start making videos on these? So a few of you asked about SPX 6900. All right. Let's clean it up. If you ever see a picture like this and you're kind of not sure, you shouldn't hesitate to remove all drawings and start from scratch. All right. I'll make a note. I actually kind of want to make a video on that where I tell people like, hey, remove all drawings, start from scratch. That's a great topic for a video. It's clearly doing a throwback, right? Cheds, is it a cup and handle? Do I need to label this a cup and handle? Like, what do I benefit from that? What do I don't understand, right? It's above the peak of a rounding bottom range. It has a correction after the peak where initially rejected, and it's continued higher, now doing a throwback. It's attempting a bullish retest from above. This looks really good. Still looks really good. Really big chat room. Lot of comments. If I miss your message, I'm sorry. I can't get to all of them. What do I think of hype? Hype is strong. Hype still looks pretty good, but there's clearly a momentum, a little bit of a momentum rollover here, just based on this look. Just kind of, what are we seeing here? I mean, loss of momentum, loss of that level, couldn't hold here. I think it's probably heading back to support, and it's got a lot of it. It's got a lot of demand in this zone, right around 31, 32. So, I mean, don't fear a test of support in an uptrend. All right. So, folks, I talked a lot about Bitcoin. What I wanted to do was walk you through why it makes sense that we're going to 110K after breaking down at 116K. I walked through all the little breadcrumbs I put out for you on Twitter. There's essentially a price vacuum in between zones. When the price pauses and does not consolidate, doesn't stop and form, an ascending triangle, doesn't stop into a flag or a pennant or whatever you want to call it. There's no structure. So loss of 116K is always going to mean we're going to 110K. We did have a sharp overreaction dip and bounce off of 112K, a single data point level. Not that important. 3 price interactions with time interval, price distance, peak to trough, most recent price action, the most important in classical charting, and SMA 50 reaction, not that important because price has chopped through the SMA 50 recently. If the price is not respecting a level, I'm not going to respect it, right? So kind of a coincidental bounce on the lower Bollinger dip following the Bollinger Band squeeze, tightest band since I think late 2024. And it's been a very nice 4H progression. It'll give you some really nice trading opportunities. I put out the tweet. When we had the outside bar, you could have taken a long and you'd find there. And then I put out a tweet with the 4-hour lower to upper Bollinger Band move while we're in a corrective phase. Put you on watch to take profit or set up for a short. You had the big old warning signal, folks. Again, this is all put out on my Twitter account, right? I just stepped you through it, you know, step by step, right? Step by step warning sign, pin bar, shooting star. This is all, it's not magic, right? I'm walking you through my methodology, textbooks I'm read. I'm teaching you professional technical analysis for free. Watch the Trading Encyclopedia. And so we had the bounce, the pin bar, the retest of the pin bar, and the rollover. It is very good chance it's going to 110K. And then we'll just see what happens. I would expect an initial bounce, and then maybe we do an underside 116 from there. We'll see. But this is all pretty vanilla. Someone asked me in a DM, is the cycle top in? Like, how could anyone know that? There's just no way to know that. Look at this weekly chart. How can you draw a top in this yet? There's just nothing there. Absolutely zilch. Nada, nada, nada. It's just price versus primary uptrend support. So even though we're observing the higher time frame trend as traders, I'm a trader. I like to take advantage of the zigzag, the lower time frame moves. And that's what we do. And I try to give you the blueprint on Twitter. So you know I'm on Twitter at Big Cheds. You know I am on Bitcoin Live, where I'm a founding analyst. You know my favorite exchange is BingX. And I have a new partnership I'm telling you about pretty soon for my US folks. This is part of the twice a week full market, not a full market, that's Bitcoin Live. This is part of the twice a week quick market update series. Every Tuesday, Friday, I will skip these occasionally because they're extra, they're for fun. I'm going to record a brand new interview later today. Check out the long form interview series. My new book is out, Trading Journal. So I'm making my last book free, the Trading Quotes book. But folks, Trading Encyclopedia, it's hot. It's blowing up. People are loving it. And this is where you can go and search for anything you're having trouble with figuring out, any pattern, any concept. Search for the video. If you don't see it, tell me. Leave a comment on a video and I'll see it and I'll record the video for you. I'm building up a huge, look at all these videos. These are already recorded. They're not all out, but I've already recorded all these videos. Huge educational library I'm making for you. Hopefully you enjoy it. And folks, thanks for being here. I'm sorry I didn't get to all your questions. I'm running out of steam. I want to go have some lunch. But it's been a wonderful, wonderful chat room. I'm really thankful that you decided to spend a little bit of your precious time here with me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dance. I'm going to show you how much fun I like to have. We're going to play Church of Eight Wheels. We're going to dance together on the way out. And, you know, if you didn't get a chance to have your question asked, you know, catch me on Friday. Am I around? Yeah, I'm going to do it a little bit earlier. I'll probably do like an earlier, maybe 9 or 10 a.m. on Friday, but I'll do a stream. So catch me then. And, you know, until the next time, keep on rocking, folks. Let's get it going here. Thank you, everybody. Be well, stay safe. Big Cheds out.